Today I want to go over 3 plugins that absolutely saved my mixing and mastering. 2 of them are from Waves and 1 is completely free, but the first plugin that I have is called Flanger. It's essentially a phaser, a flanger, and a stereo shaper all in one. The reason I say this is because you can use all of these completely separate, so you could have no phasing and no stereo shaping but have the flanger effect. You could have a phaser going with no flanger or stereo shaping. I find that the stereo shaping setting on this does a way better job than an actual stereo expander. There's a boatload of presets here that you can choose from, but usually I just go with chorus light and then leave all the settings the same, except I turn stereo all the way up to 180. I utilize this on all of my ad-lib or harmony layers. It really just separates them from the main vocals so they don't sound like they're mudding, and they actually give it that extra space that you need it to have. A lot of people make the mistake of not separating their ad-libs or panning them or anything, and then they end up just being too quiet behind the main vocals, or when you turn them up to hear them, they mud them out and they distort and they just sound crappy. That is assuming that you're layering them over the other vocals and not going, of course, in between lines. So I have a song pulled up that I mixed for a client. I'm gonna show you what it sounds like all together.
This ain't for the faint of heart, I just make it look fun. Hallelujah, shout it hallelujah. Devil shoot, cause I'm where you shoot. In the booth, immature do.
It sounds extremely full when all of those layers come in together. Now I've soloed out the one channel that has this effect on it, so I'm gonna push play and I'm just gonna turn it on and off as I play it. You should be able to hear a pretty distinct difference, especially if you're wearing headphones.
Hallelujah, shout it hallelujah. Devil shoot, cause I'm where you shoot. In the booth, immature do. I'ma shoot, don't me yally you.
So of course you can hear it gets quite a bit wider when it's on. I have a couple ad-libs in there that are actually panned physically left and right, so you still hear the echo that's going there, but the main majority is pretty narrow when that effect is not on. It also sort of hollows it out, gives it a little bit of like a hallway sort of filter to it. This modulation here is what's panning it left and right. You can always push stop and it'll just keep things centered. The depth, if you turn this up all the way, it's gonna pan left and right with this phaser as far as it can possibly go. The rate is gonna determine how wobbly it sounds. Then you can mess with the mix and the feedback to balance everything out. Go crazy with this plugin. You can come out with a lot of cool sounds. It's really easy to use and I highly recommend it. The second plugin that I have is called Vitamin. I only recently started using this because I accidentally clicked on it when I was trying to choose a different plugin, and then I was like, yo, this looks really cool, and I watched a tutorial on how to use it, and damn, is it really easy and extremely helpful. If you ever have a song that needs like a lot of width and depth to it, this plugin is absolutely for you. This is really great for those of you who don't have stems for a beat and you're just using, say, like an MP3 or a wave lease. Essentially, all this plugin is just 5 sliders. You've got the lows, the low mids, the mid highs, and the highs. If these are set to off, of course, they're doing nothing, but as you slide them up, they increase the volume of certain sections. Up here, you can adjust the crossovers and sections that get boosted as well. So here you can see this dotted line is for the highs. This next line is for the mid highs. Next is just the mids, and so on and so forth. So as you adjust these, you can see where they expand to. Usually I only end up boosting these top 3. Then at the bottom here, you have a dial to stereo shape certain frequencies. So like I said, if you're only working with like a wave download, of course you don't have the stems to manipulate the melody to be wider. So if you want it to be, you can throw this plugin on there and just adjust one of these dials up or down. In the lower end, you want to make sure that it's a little bit more mono sounding, and in the high end, you really want to separate these things and make them feel full. I'm gonna play a clip of this song that I mastered for my boy Beats by Luke. Definitely go follow him on Instagram. He's gonna be linked down below. His beats are insane. He's currently working on a full album and he got me to master this for him. So I'm just gonna play it along and I'm gonna enable and disable the Vitamin plugin only, and you're gonna hear a huge difference.
You could've kissed in the first place. Now you're low down trying to save face. You want good head in a tight waist, but you ain't down for no leg brace. You'd fly all the way to California just to tell me how much I want you, but I'm done cleansing my aura, and you're dead weight, you're dead weight, you're dead weight, you're dead, you're dead weight, you're dead.
As soon as it gets enabled, you can immediately hear how much more eccentric and full and crazy it sounds. It's so narrow and it's almost boring without it. Like, sure, you might hear this song without the plugin to begin with and have like no other sort of reference and be like, yeah, like this sounds really good. But when you hear it without this plugin after it's been on, it's just like, wow, how is that? That's not even the same song. So this plugin has saved my masters a ton. I highly recommend you use this. Today's video is sponsored by DistroKid. Save 7% on your first year with my VIP link at the top of the description. You'll get access to a ton of incredible features, one of which allows you to connect with major record labels. You can also collect Spotify pre-saves for your upcoming songs. And if you want to get a YouTube official artist channel just like me, click the video in the top right corner to learn how. For as little as $20 a year, get all this and more with DistroKid. Thank you for supporting my channel. Now on to the video. And the third plugin that I have for today's video is called Fresh Air. It is completely free, again, linked in the description. Shout out my boy Caves for putting me onto this plugin. It's extremely helpful. It's essentially just a 2-dial EQ that somehow selects the best frequencies to boost and give extra clarity to your voice. You can either link or unlink these 2 dials here and just turn them up. Of course, you have the highs and you have the mids. And I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory what this does. It boosts the highs and mids, and it makes it just so much clearer. For some reason, when you use a parametric EQ, sometimes it's difficult to get the nice balance in the high range. But for some reason, this EQ just gets the job done. It makes it super easy, super smooth, and it really does give it fresh air. So I have this random recording. I don't know if I'm gonna do anything with this, but I'm just gonna play it along and then enable and disable like I did the other songs.
Possibly, I'm the best that I could ever be. Better not put any bets on me. You could lose it all.
So there was a little bit of a delay when I would turn it on and off, but you could notice it gets a lot more fresh. Like literally calling it fresh air is the perfect name because it feels like it's a breath of fresh air when that's enabled. So yeah, those are my 3 favorite plugins that I have right now. If I ever come up with some other ones, of course, I'll make a video on it. Make sure you leave a like because it really, really does help me. If you make music, which I assume if you're watching this, you do, come out to my weekly live streams on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 4 p.m. EST on Twitch. Again, linked in the description. It's completely free to submit. There's a skip the line option available as well. And I always like seeing some new faces in there. So we'll catch you there. Anyways, guys, it's been your boy MMXVII, and I'm out. Peace.
Now you want this, now you want that. I don't need you, bitch, don't come back. Still got a scar left on my back. I need a bit more time to heal. I'ma need you to keep